So good to see you.
Good to see you too, and welcome to a CAOC conversation with Alexis Gamliel. We're going to talk about grassroots today, and I'm so glad that you could join me for this. I'm really curious, first, how long have you been doing work with CAOC? And then as a secondary question, how long have you been doing grassroots work with CAOC?
Yeah, so I've been involved in CAOC ever since I was in law school. I remember some speakers came to Loyola Law School and were talking all about the beauty and the rewarding aspects of plaintiff side litigation and all of the good that we can do for human beings and to make our society safer, more just. And I was really just taken aback by how impressive these people were, and I wanted to surround myself with like-minded people. I had somebody invite me to be a student member, and from there I just really I've always felt that CAOC was my people. And so that's kind of how I got started. And then just the more I got involved, the more rewarding I found it to be. And it really resonated with all of the work that I wanted to do in my career.
Yeah, and congratulations also. You're our new incoming treasurer.
Thank you.
So, really went from law student all the way up to leadership ladder.
And I will say this too, I'm so appreciative. In the first firm where I worked, I had an attorney come into my office when I was just a first year. I had just passed the bar, and she essentially really helped me into the new lawyers division and introduced me to that subgroup within CAOC, and that was really formative for me because it was so wonderful to be surrounded by other new lawyers, and so that became really my community. And eventually I started rising through leadership, did the public service event like the one that just occurred last night, and just really took advantage of all of the different opportunities that exist within this organization. So,
It's fantastic. In my time here, I've only been here not even a year, but as long as I have been here, I have heard people talk about your engagement with grassroots, with Justice Day, and I'm really curious to have you talk about how did you get involved with the grassroots side of things?
Yeah. So Leanne Tratton invited me to be a part of this, and I know what's good for me and always say yes to Leanne Tratton.
Yeah.
And so I said yes to the opportunity to get to know the woman who is now Assembly Member Jessica Calosa. But when I first met her, the idea was for me to get to know her while she was running, while her campaign was going, and to just support her and get to know her as a human being. And I love meeting new people of all walks of life, and this was a really natural connection. We first had a lunch and we got to know each other on a human level and connected over books and just different things. We were not talking about legislation. We were not talking about a lot of the work that CAOC does really much at all, but that was such a great springboard for our relationship. And then as time went on, we would meet periodically, we'd get to know each other, catch up, and then the conversations naturally evolved to whatever issues were at the forefront for both of us. And so we connected as people first and then as partners in advocacy later on.
Yeah, no, I love that you talk about it in that way of like a partnership because, legislators go into politics, hopefully the very best of them, because they want to help people. Yeah. And a lot of times they're people who don't necessarily have a background in the law. And so what CAOC members can often offer is that not just education on how the current law affects people, everyday people in California, including the legislators themselves, right? But also kind of those narratives of, in your day-to-day work, where you see cases of people being affected. And I'm really curious, like, have you had a chance, since you have developed that relationship, have you had a chance to educate her on any of our bills?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I requested to be assigned to meet with her during Justice Day, which Justice Day, we could have a whole podcast session on that alone. But it is really such a special event, and one where we meet with legislators in small groups, and this is an opportunity that you don't get through any other format. So I knew that I was going to Justice Day. I love to go, and I requested to meet with her because we already had that existing relationship, and it was wonderful to see her in her element in Sacramento, and to see her in her office at the Capitol, along with some of my CAOC friends and family.
Yeah.
And so we spoke about various pieces of legislation that were pending at that time, and then I had the privilege of following up with her on SB 29, and she was really a champion for us in the rooms where it mattered. And I'm so grateful that we had that relationship, because it made the conversations really not feel forced or mechanical.
Right.
They were authentic, and I could provide case examples that were, from my own litigation life, from my colleagues' stories, and really provide those powerful anecdotes about how real clients in real situations deal with these issues. And and we talked about the pre-death pain and suffering and what it actually means in the day in the life of a plaintiff going through a lawsuit like this.
Yeah, no, that is really powerful. And I think something else I love about this is that, like, it's, day in, day out, you are advocating for so many people. And this is like a next level to be able to put the megaphone up for that advocacy, and to say, I'm going to do it for everyone in California. And that's really what grassroots organizing with CAOC gives people the opportunity, is to say, like, hey, I know that this is important. I see how people are affected, and I want to affect change at this wider level.
Yeah. And also, it means so much to us as advocates to be able to put, just to make something real come out of our work beyond a single person and a single case. The letter of the law is something that creates ripple effects of positive change in our society for years, decades, hundreds of years to come, hopefully. And we want that to be favorable to consumers, so that we have a safer, better society for everybody. And when we say seeking justice for all, this is one of the things that we mean. We don't only mean in the courtroom, we mean in all these different aspects.
Yeah.
Just different levels. And it's also really empowering and exciting to be able to meet with legislators and to be able to tell your friends, hey, I got to talk to Assembly Member so-and-so, or, because these people are also our voices in Sacramento, and we want to feed them the right information that because they're getting influenced by all different kinds of coalitions, and we need to make sure they have a full picture and a favorable picture of what our legislation that we want passed looks like, what it means, and also we want to give them the tools to fight bad legislation that's going to negatively affect consumers.
Right, absolutely.
But also, I think what was so wonderful is in my follow-up efforts with Assemblymember Calosa, you were so instrumental. You helped me, by reminding me of times to reach out to her that are critical in terms of like our path forward on certain issues. And I really appreciate that, because you gave me the nice little nudge I needed when, to tell me when certain things are happening, and then now is a good time to reach out. And also for members who are just kind of getting exposed to what grassroots even is, I would say, you just take the jump, and we will all be there to help you along the way. And it's such a great opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're not unsupported. Alexis didn't get thrown in with nothing. And I want to kind of like jump back quickly to when you said, you get to tell your friends about this, because there's something about this that is the heart of grassroots organizing that is really powerful to me, which is that, our legislators should be accountable to us, and we can hold them accountable. And again, I just think of this as like another layer of advocacy, of saying like, hey, I have the opportunity to go up to Sacramento and to do this. And I'm not just doing it on behalf of my clients, but I'm doing it on behalf of all Californians. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it on behalf of the system that we have set up to have people represent us and represent the well-being of every single person who lives here, mm-hmm. right? And I just think that's really, to me, it's really powerful that you've gotten this chance to have this direct connection and this direct voice, mm-hmm. and you've used it so wonderfully, and you've shown that it really can be a connection between humans,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I want to give whoever is watching this an idea of how does this really unfold. So when we had our first lunch, we met at the Water Grill in downtown Los Angeles, and we had about an hour and a half long lunch just getting to know each other. Fast forward a few months out from there, we then met for I attended one of her fundraisers to show support. And then at another time, I attended her swearing-in ceremony, her community swearing-in ceremony, mm-hmm. In Eagle Rock. And it's at each of these events, I also started seeing some of the same supporters of her at various events that right. were put on for her. So I also became a part of her community, and I would begin to see these familiar faces. And I also, even if at some of these larger scale events, we wouldn't have particularly deep conversations, it's,
sure.
Right?
It's busy,
right. But I believe that she notices that I'm there. She knows that CAOC is with her, and that we hope that she's going to be with us on really critical issues. And then when I am talking to her about legislation, whether it's on a Zoom call or in Sacramento at Justice Day, she knows that I've been there for her.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I that is meaningful, right? To look out into a crowd of people and to be like, well, there's a friendly face here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it is the coolest thing, too, to see how the community comes together to celebrate her becoming an assembly member, and to be able to follow that person along their journey through seeing right. their vision come to life. It's a really cool thing to be a part of together.
Yeah, I mean, it's like very mutually empowering, it sounds like.
Yeah. Also, I think something that not a lot of people talk about as a benefit of grassroots is the way we get to talk about doing that with our clients. And I feel like my clients see me differently when they know that I'm not just doing this for only them and their case. That is, of course, that's what the representation is about. But the representation that I hold in my heart is to carry this desire for justice into Sacramento, into rooms and conversations with lawmakers. It's not just something where I am working on a case-by-case basis. I am working on a larger scale because I believe in this work, and I do believe that my clients hear that and they receive that and they feel it. They know that I'm not just talking the talk. I am walking the walk, right. And in tandem with lawmakers trying to make positive change throughout our world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're taking your time to go and do this.
Yeah.
And
And it also makes you come back to the practice with a renewed sense of hope, right? Like after I go to Justice Day in Sacramento, I come back to my desk and I feel invigorated.
That's fantastic. I think we are going to have to do a whole podcast on Justice Day. It would be great. Okay, so if somebody is listening to all of this and they're like, "Well, that's great for Alexis."
No, but you can do it too. All of you can do this because you're lawyers, you know how to talk, you have confidence, you have your heart in the right place because you're a member of CAOC. So everybody who is watching this or listening to this can do this.
Yeah.
You just have to trust yourself and have conversations and be brave, be a little brave, get out of your comfort zone, and you can absolutely do this. And it's not just going to benefit you and your life and your practice, it's going to benefit so many other people, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, no. Thank you so much for joining us today,
yes,
Alexis.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a delight as always.
Always a delight. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I hope you all get involved in Grassroots. It's great. It's going to make you feel so fulfilled. You're going to do positive work, and couldn't recommend it enough.
change the world together.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. This has been a CAOC conversation on grassroots. If you're interested in finding out more, go ahead and give us a follow. You can also email grassroots@caoc.org to join the Grassroots program. Thanks.
Thank you.